Today, we'll dive into the fascinating story behind the dominance of the American dollar, starting from the historic agreement at the 1944 Bretton Woods Conference to America's unshakable position as the world's gold reserve leader. We'll also peek into the process of making dollars both paper money and coins, revealing how a mix of cotton and linen, intricate designs, and advanced printing technology ensure the security and uniqueness of this currency. Let's start this exciting adventure and discover the secrets behind the currency that symbolizes global economic power. The origin of the dollar's strength began in 1944 with a pivotal moment named the Bretton Woods Conference. This conference, conducted post-World War II, was attended by 44 allied nations. The conference aimed to address the economic difficulties of World War II. It was at this moment that the dollar was agreed upon as the primary global currency due to the support of America's abundant gold reserves. Consequently, other countries began to peg their exchange rates to the dollar. That's the history of how the dollar became the world's currency reference. From that information, we know the key lies in the gold reserves, right? Even now, the dollar remains the primary currency and is difficult to dethrone. According to 2022 data on gold reserves from Trading Economics, America is still number one, with 8,133 tons. Therefore, until any country can rival America's gold reserves, that country is still far from escaping the shadow of the American dollar. After much discussion about the American dollar, how about we dive deeper to understand how this money is made? According to the rules, for every dollar bill the United States prints, an independent institution called the Federal Reserve plays a crucial role in authorizing the printing by the U.S. Department of the Treasury. Considerations usually include the impact of excessive money printing, like inflation and similar issues. Once all impacts are assessed and the printing of money is deemed safe, the printing authorization will be issued and the Department of the Treasury will begin printing.
Now we've arrived at the U.S. Treasury's money factory, specifically at the raw material warehouse. All the sacks you see here contain two things: cotton and linen. The composition of the dollar bill is made up of 75% cotton and 25% linen. From the raw material area, we move to the paper printing process. All the raw materials are put through a pulping process, where they are transformed into paper pulp. This pulp then goes to the next machine to be hardened. In this giant machine, the paper pulp unites and dries rapidly through a very fast spinning process. The speed of the rollers we see even reaches 90 kilometers per hour, requiring workers doing inspections to be extremely careful. After drying, the paper is perfectly formed and collected in giant rolls. Once the paper is ready, we move to the area where the master plate is made. The process of creating the master plate begins with design. American dollar bills are uniquely designed by experienced artists to maintain their complexity and security. However, upon closer inspection, it's evident that the American dollar has more complex design contours, where each curve must be unique to prevent counterfeiting. This is why it takes several years to produce a single money design. After the design is complete, we move on to the engraving process. This process still involves engraving experts who use siderography techniques where measurements are made in reverse on a steel plate. Once the engraving is complete, the master plate enters the copying process. The master plate is first washed with deionized water, then immersed in potassium dichromate to prevent rusting, and finally placed in a nickel salt tank for 22 hours. In this tank, an electric current etches an identical plate. Once finished, all the copied plates are inspected by the previously responsible engravers. If deemed a failure, the plate is melted and remade. If okay, the produced plate is coated with a chrome solution, 110, the thickness of a human hair. After the paper and master plates are ready, we move on to the printing process. Everything here is relatively easy, as printing uses advanced machines. The only complex part is the ink used, which is a special kind that possesses magnetic properties and a color-shifting ability for tracking. Up to now, the color formula used by the United States for their currency remains a closely guarded secret. The green color on American dollars was chosen because it is considered difficult to replicate and psychologically symbolizes stability and growth. After printing, the money is inspected by quality control using computers and advanced cameras. If it's not up to standard, the money will be destroyed. If it passes, it will be packed and sent to the Federal Reserve. The Fed then has the right to distribute the newly minted money. Moving from paper money, let's look at coin manufacturing. Like the previous process, coin production starts with the design process. As observed, this process also employs skilled artists. After the design is finalized, the coin plates are created through an engraving process conducted by machines. Typically, one coin design will produce two main patterns, front and back. Once the design and main plates are ready, we move to the actual coin making. It all starts with rolls of steel plate made from copper and nickel. These steel plates then go through a blanking machine, where each piece is pressed to create blank coins. Typically, about 300,000 coins are produced from one steel plate. The blank coins are then refined using a special disc-shaped machine that smoothens the produced coins. After that, the coins are pressed using the main plate according to the design. Once completed, the coins are inspected by quality control before being packaged and sent to the Federal Reserve. That concludes our exploration of how the American dollar is produced. That's all for today. See you in the next video.